Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and if it's your first time, thank you for popping in. I hope you like it if it is your first time. Anyway, today it's a bit of a different video because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about reading and the books that I've enjoyed over the years. I've got a bit of a fail really, because the latest book that I've read that I was going to talk about, I've taken to the charity shop, so I can't show it you. So I had a clear out the other day and took a load of things to the charity shop. And I often buy my books from there, and I have bought it from there, so I took it back so they can resell it. So what I thought I'd do is I'd talk about all the books I've liked since I was a child. I've always loved reading. And I mean, when I was a child, there was not much alternative if you wanted to escape, because there was no TV or anything like that. You could listen to things on the radio, but you know, if you went to bed or you went to your bedroom, it was a book that you took out. And my first books that I loved were always Enid Blyton books. I loved noddy books when I was a little child. I suppose lots of people my age did. And then I moved on to like the Famous Five and the Secret Seven, and like there used to be a series called like, sorry, as usual, there's somebody at the door, and you'll have to excuse me if I keep using my tissue because my hay fever's really bad today. So I don't know whether that's good or bad. It's probably good because it's a sign of summer really, isn't it? So anyway, I digress. Let's get back to talking about so I think I've got up to talking about Enid Blyton, the adventure books, which was like the Island of Adventure, the Castle of Adventure. And I love those books. And really, when I think about it, I had nothing in common with the children because they all had like nannies and did certain things. You know, they came from quite wealthy families, I would think. But I did love her books. And then when I moved on to my teenage years, I started reading Jean Plaidy. They were like historical novels. I loved those. And it's amazing how much history you remember from reading those books. You know, like I read all about the Borgias, and it was historical fiction, but I did really like it. And then the other books that I've liked as I've grown up are, I love Jeffrey Archer. I don't remember him from the series Cain and Abel. Well, he's written they're really good books. I can't put them down once I get a Jeffrey Archer book. And also like John Grisham, I couldn't think of his name then. He wrote The Client and lots of other things, you know. So I did like those. So I'm moving on to like a more of a meaty story, really. Then as you get older, it does get more difficult to read. Even if your eyesight is quite good. I find, you know, in an evening, I mean, I do need reading glasses, obviously, as I've got older. I think everyone, when they hit 40, sort of needs reading glasses. But I find it difficult, particularly in an evening or once the natural daylight's gone. I do find it more difficult as I've got older. And this is the next thing I'm going to show you. I have been sent light from a company called Serious Readers. You'll perhaps be able to see it. Just let me move this. Here it is. But they contacted me and said I could choose any light, because as you get older, it's more difficult to read, I have to say. Younger ones won't realise, but you start noticing when it goes dusk, it's difficult to read, and some of the writing's really small in books. So this is like, it's for reading, and it's for, like if you do close work like embroidery. I'll see if I can just put it on for you. There we are. Can you see? So you can bend it over anywhere. Focus it down, and it's got different strengths here. Just see if I can show you it on a book. Let me just bring it closer. Look. Can you see the difference? Now, what I thought is, I got this because I read in bed a lot, and I thought I can put it at the side of my bed and move it around. What it also does is combat eye strain and fatigue, because it gives you simulated daylight light, which is really good. I have found it useful. To be truthful, I just have it at the side of my bed normally. I have been using it for a couple of weeks because I thought I needed to use it to see if it was really you know, as good as what they're saying it is, because I do find it difficult to read as I've got older. I do listen to audiobooks as well, you know, that helps. But I really would recommend this for reading, or maybe if you did close embroidery work or something like that, because you can use it, move it around, you know. You can get it in a standard lamp as well. I'll link the website. I wasn't sure which one to get. But I thought I could move this one around more. Serious Lights, they use daylight wavelength technology. It replicates a daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible. So it is trademarked, so built in the United Kingdom, which is also another useful factor. You can get the light in 3 different finishes. I went for the white, with it's sort of a grey white. It's classed as white anyway. With the chrome, you could have this in chrome or brass, but you couldn't have it in the gold, the brass gold, in the white version. They only do that in the chrome, or they have like a stove black one, which was very nice. They also have, I sort of wished I got it actually, but I didn't. They had one called Gemini, which had got 2 lights on. So you could focus one this way and then focus the other head another way, you know. So I suppose that would be really good if you were sewing and you were using 2 different machines, you know, like, I don't know, a sewing machine and an overlocker or something, you know. But there are lots of different options. And also they're giving a very, very generous discount code of £100. I mean, they're not cheap, these lights, I do have to say, but I mean, you get what you pay for, don't you? I mean, you get this beautiful daylight type light that's really good for you. My Serious light is the high definition table light, and this uses the wavelength technology. They've also offered my viewers a very generous £100 discount code. I'll put it across the screen here, and I'll also put details of it in the description box. So I'd like to thank Serious Lights for sending me this light, which I'm going to use and enjoy using, and hopefully reading more. Right, let's get back to my book reviews. Of course, I went through the Mills and Boons because it was good. I liked the Mills and Boons one because you could just film it in, you could just read it in sort of a day, really. They were very quick to read, you know. But I went through that romantic stage. And now, my favourite author now, well, I have a few really, but I do like Leslie Pierce. And I'm going to talk about a Leslie Pierce book. And I also like Lisa Jewell. Now, Leslie Pierce, I preferred her earlier books to her recent books. Her earlier books were sort of set some time ago, really, whereas a later book seemed to be more recent, you know, but I do prefer her earlier books. It's funny, I was watching a YouTube video some time ago with Leslie Pierce in, and she was talking about how she started writing books, and she said when she was a child she just used to lie all the time. She used to come in from school and say to her mother, oh, Auntie so-and-so's just got knocked off a bike or something like that, and then she'd get in trouble for doing it. But she said she just loved making up stories. So that's a lovely way to start, isn't it? I think probably people who write like that have got such good imaginations. Anyway, the more recent books I've read a lot of Lisa Jewell, and as I was saying, the latest one I've read I actually sent to the charity shop, but I can talk about it. It was because I'm reading the next book. There's a follow-up book, and you could read them both independently, but the book that I read was The Family Upstairs, and I really liked it. I couldn't put it down. It is a really, really good book. It's about, well, there's this girl called Libby, and she's 25, and on her 25th birthday, she inherits something. She didn't know what she was going to inherit. She had been adopted as a child, so she always knew, she was adopted as a baby, so she always knew that she was getting this inheritance when she was 25, but had no idea what it was. Anyway, it was a multi-million-pound mansion. So this is where the story gets, well, a bit creepy, but it gets really good. It's sort of a bit run down, the mansion, but it's in, you know, the best part of London. It's worth a fortune. So the story moves on, and it's one where you, you know, I don't know what they actually call it. There is a word for it, but you know, one chapter's one person, the next chapter's another person, and you can't wait to get back to the previous person to find out what's going to happen. And so it's different people at different times, but it all clicks together really good. And anyway, you find out about the creepy story of the house, and what happened over the years, and this is like the plot to the whole story, really. It's quite a good thriller, and there's quite some nice characters in it and some not so nice. So I really would recommend that. And at the moment, well, I'm not reading, I'm listening to an audiobook, because I found it on YouTube, actually, the audiobook for The Family Remains. And so I'm listening to that at the moment. Some of the audiobooks I find on YouTube aren't very good because it's like AI and it's very robotic, but this one seems to be okay. So that's Lisa Jewell. So I've read quite a lot of her books and I do really, really like them. I do usually get them from the charity shop, I have to be truthful. Now, the other book that I want to talk about is a Leslie Pierce book. I don't know why I've gone off at a tangent. I've gone from Leslie Pierce to Lisa Jewell, typical of me. Anyway, as I told you, I bought two books of Leslie Pierce. I bought Suspects and Deception. Now, I started reading Deception. I haven't read it all, but I do. It's really good, and I'll read you the synopsis from it, which but as I say, if you want to start reading Leslie Pierce, I'll start reading some of her older novels. I love Gypsy and Rose and all the older ones. Now, this is about, after Alice, it's about a girl called Alice, and after her mother's funeral, she's approached by a man who tells her that he's a real father. She's very upset and she doesn't really believe it, but she discovers that tugging at this loose thread, it unravels a mystery about and lies about her mother's life. So what she does is she tries to find out the terrible truth about her mother. And this is what the story is all about. And I'll just read what it says. It said, but is she prepared for the dark journey back to Sally's traumatic childhood and the evil forces that came to shape the woman who claimed to love her? Now, I've not got that far with it. I'll perhaps do you an update later on, you know, because I do like reading. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have liked it and you'd like me to talk more about books in the future, just let me know. You know, I could perhaps do one every few months or something, you know. If I've read a few books, I can tell you about them. And if you are interested in the Serious Readers Lite, I'll put all the details in the description box. There's no pressure, I'm just showing it you. I like it, but it's entirely up to you. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Don't forget the Sunday Sunshine Show on Sunday at 7:30 in the morning. I hope to speak to you soon. Bye bye.